Okay, so we thought we'll discuss the places that Indrani claims that she and Sheena had been to the night that Sheena disappeared. Um, Anything you want to say before we get started with the map?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so this, I know this doesn't say Amarsons, but this is the place that Indrani claims that she and Sheena met at. This is Amarsons.
And this is
Uh,
this is where Rahul has dropped her, correct?
yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not
Uh,
just her; it's also him. So that's
yes.
okay.
Yeah. So they met here, they did some sari shopping. Then Indrani says that they went to a jeweler store. So the name of the jeweler store that Indrani mentioned is Notandas. So there's two Notandas over here and they're sort of close by, at least on the map. So if this is Amarsan's where she and Indrani met, one jewelry store is here, and then the other one, which I lost, is somewhere here. I
Right,
think it's this one.
right, right. And then
Then Indrani says, she says Royal China, but she also states a place called Moti Mahal, which is also a restaurant. So if she says they went to Moti Mahal, that is right here. But then she says that they crossed Royal China when they went to Taj Land's End. So Royal China is all the way here, but this location may have changed, right?
yeah, this location is now the case. Back in
Okay.
2012, it was further down Hill Road.
So somewhere
So
here.
somewhere there.
Okay.
Correct.
So okay, still could be on their way to Taj Land's End. Like they could potentially cross that.
Right. Definitely.
Okay. Um, and then Taj Land's End is all the way down here, where Indrani claims they went to. Finally, that's where they landed up
Right.
because Royal China was closed.
And this is where Rahul also has said now in his timeline, he is saying that he received a text from Sheena when
Mm-hmm.
they were leaving the Taj Lands Inn
Mm-hmm.
and they were going to Royal China, which is not where it's located on this map because it's changed location, but
Yeah.
it has to go that complete route.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that he is saying 8:30, and we
Mm-hmm.
both know, okay, so this is a Tuesday night,
Yes.
and so that traffic there. Now, so there was this conversation, right, about 9:15. So this was when, and this is a little confusing to me because I thought I heard it two different ways. So when I listened to it earlier, I thought she said she had to be, meaning Indrani, she had to
Mm-hmm.
be back because she has a guest at home. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's a little confusion for me because it also comes up that it's Sheena who has to be there by 9:15. So
Right.
that's a little confusing. But the point being that if you're leaving from Taj Land's End, now they haven't eaten. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
story about going to Royal China,
Mm-hmm.
having the shutters down, meaning
Mm-hmm.
it's closed, going to Taj Land's End.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed this, but it's like, why wouldn't you just eat there? If you have to
Yes.
make this trip, if Sheena is sending a text at 8:30, and you know how this is, and you're supposed to be at Armison's by 9:15. So that's and a lot of your time is going to be taken up in trying to get to Armison's, at least 20 minutes, at least
At
20
least.
minutes, at
Yeah.
least. We have to
Because
emphasize at
it's
least.
yeah, because it's all
Um,
Taj Lands is all the way down here, and Amar
right.
Sons means going all the way back up here.
Right. Which in Mumbai on a Tuesday night at 8:30, yes, a lot of traffic has moved through. It does start lightening up during the weekdays at 8. But then it picks up again because people are going to restaurants to eat. So it's like Taj Lands End has multiple restaurants in it. You wonder how it is if you have to be back by 9:15 and it's already 8:30. Why are you
Yeah.
not just having dinner at Taj Lands End? Because you have to be seated, you have to order, you have to wait for the food, you have to eat the food.
Mm.
Now, Royal China is a very popular restaurant even to today, and it's not a big restaurant, so there aren't many places to sit. There are not many tabletops.
Mm.
So the other thing is that they do have bookings. And so to pop in there is a very difficult thing that usually means a wait at high time. So
Uh,
very confusing.
for the
It's just
record,
very confusing to be able to accomplish all this in the time specified.
yeah. For the record, I haven't been there. Never been there. It always makes me hungry about Chinese food every time we talk about it. So it's on my
Right,
list when I go
right.
back home.
So this is like one of the major. So Indians love Chinese food as a rule,
Yes.
in general, and it is an extremely popular restaurant. So this is like a place you go and hope to get a table.
Mm.
So I think it's really important to point out that if it's 8:30 and you're leaving from Taj Lands End and you're
Mm-hmm.
hoping to go to Royal China,
Yeah.
but there's this thought that someone has to be at Armeson's by 9:15.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
just saying that anybody local to that area, and I have lived in this area, they would be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, you're not going to make it. There's no
Yeah.
way."
No. Not even if you pack the food.
So, even if you're able to get a table, that means you're really like eating in 10, 15 minutes, which is not impossible, but it's odd.
Definitely. For a reunion after so many years,
Yeah.
you don't expect it to go down like this.
Like it just doesn't make any sense.
No.
So, I think probably we should go back and just listen once again
Mm-hmm.
to the timeline, listen to it again carefully now that we have an understanding
Mm-hmm.
of the different locations. And then, yeah, go ahead. I know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing before we move on from the maps is that if Indrani claims that she dropped Sheena off at Amar Son's back here at 9:15 and she was home by no later than 9:45, so she would have to go through this way to get all the way back to her home in Worli, which is in South Bombay, which again is a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. So that's called the Sea Link, and
Yeah.
that's a bridge, a major bridge over the
Yes.
highway. Um, they had tolls at that time, right?
Yes.
So it's like you have a
Tolls.
toll booth
Yeah.
that is often
Actually,
backed up.
yeah. It's physical payment of money. It's not like it just scans your card and you leave. It's like physical payment of money.
Right. Now, oh, could you bring that back up?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Just want to make the point that, okay, let's say you don't take the Sea Link.
Yeah.
Um,
I accidentally shut the whole thing. Uh,
sorry.
no, no, that's fine. Uh, think here, right? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So think avoid high tolls. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so now we're showing you if you don't take that route, let's just say that for argument's sake, okay, they didn't take the Sea Link. Because I think that anybody looking at the maps, they could realize that there's multiple ways to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you go the residential route, Okay, now at the time of we're recording, it's like 2:33 a.m. on a Saturday night.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is not how it would be at 9:15 on a Tuesday
No.
night.
No.
This stretch, the areas around the blue line are all residential areas.
Mm-hmm.
This whole
Like all.
thing is chock a block,
Yes.
all the way to Worley. So your fastest route is the Sea Link. So you would
Yes.
presume if she's saying that they got there in a half an hour, which we find incredible. I mean, that would be
Yes.
considered a good day.
Yeah.
um, even if she goes that, like, there's no way she went the other way if it's half an hour, because this would be an hour long journey for sure going this route.
Yes. Yes.
So that forces us into understanding that the Sea Link is the only possibility of reaching there at that time. So even that, what we're trying to say is that even that's sus, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Definitely.
for us, we're like, wow, half an hour, like, that's a high five moment if you
Yeah.
can make it there at that time, that quickly home.
Yeah.
So, and I we went through this in an earlier episode. To drop somebody off there, you not only have to go, you have to go in the opposite direction, take a U-turn,
Yes. Yes.
and so that's another bit of time that is just lost because you're forced to go that direction and then
Yeah.
make a turn back around. So
Yeah.
it's not making any sense for anybody who lives in Mumbai and they know this area. They would be trying to understand. So, like, again, 6:30 at Armison's,
Yeah.
right? And do this whole thing, right?
Yes.
And then if Rahul's text is right, do all of that 6:30, 8:30 leaving Taj,
Mm-hmm.
and 9:15 Armison's. So
Yeah.
we're not even understanding. So everybody understands, we can't fathom this. Like, if you're
No.
looking at these maps, they may not mean much to you. But
Yeah.
as two people who have lived there, this is unfathomable. That you could do all this
Yeah.
between 6:30 and 8:30 is miraculous
Yeah.
at that
Even
time of
people.
day, which is the height of traffic. So even at
Yeah.
6:30, right?
Yes.
Like, you're getting to the busiest time in that whole area.
Yeah. You don't hang out with people you don't like this. You spend more time with the people you don't like. Like you spend longer than 2 hours even with people you don't like. This is like you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to accomplish too much shopping and eating and getting together and the reunion all in 2 hours. That's a bit of a stretch.
Well, I mean,
And
it's like a drive by to the jewelers.
yeah,
Like you waved hi and, like, didn't even get out of the car.
yeah,
Like, I can't even imagine trying to get this all in, because so I mean, I think it's like, we know that Indrani has a driver, right?
yes.
So she's there. So there's someone to deal with the car, correct? But then
Hmm.
what happens in a lot of these areas, like, if you can point out some of the smaller roads, so some of these are kind of big roads,
Yes.
like where the jewelers is. That's called Turner Road. Um,
Yeah. But
but
pretty
a lot,
narrow.
a lot of it is like these smaller lanes, which
Yeah.
trying to get around them. So what I'm trying to say is, what normally happens is the driver will drop you to the door.
Hmm.
You go inside. The driver is trying to figure out where to keep the car, like where
Yes.
to park the car. Then normally what
Yes.
people do is, before they're ready to leave a place, they're calling the driver to come pick
Yeah.
them up at the door again. It's not like they're walking out. So unless that person gets a parking spot right there,
Yeah.
right? They're calling the driver and say, "Come get us. We're ready."
Yeah.
And so you're doing this multiple times, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times the parking is so bad that the driver will keep the car running and keep going all around these streets until he gets the call from you. So if you
Exactly.
know you're going to be in a store for like half an hour and he can't find for parking, he'll just keep driving around until you call him because there's nowhere
Exactly.
to park.
Exactly. So this
And
is
that
not
can
like
also take time.
it's not like an instant shop or
No.
something. You're not running. So I
What
think
magic carpet she's flying on? I don't know.
exactly. Yeah, right. So it's
Yeah.
like I think it's important to understand that this whole driver thing is 10 minutes a
Yes.
lot of times
Yeah.
and
And in
sometimes longer.
yes. And like in that backdrop of the traffic and the parking, also she's like at the bottom, they're here at Land's End. And if she took the sea link, the entrance is here, right here. Why would she go all the way back here, which would take her another 20-30 minutes, and then come back down here to take the sea link from this gray thick line? Like it makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Most people in Bombay, by the way, it's very important to note, and we did say something about this earlier, but genuinely we we try to save each other the extras. So it's like, I'll just take a rickshaw from here. I'll just get a cab from here. You go ahead because you're going that direction. I'm going this direction. We do that
Yeah.
for each other. It's like
Yes.
everybody knows not even to get into that. So we've said this
Yes.
earlier, but I think it's bears repeating that again. So it's like normally, and if you're sitting at the Taj and someone is going to town, which is Worli, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're
Yes.
going towards Armison's opposite direction,
Yes.
you're going to say,
Yes.
look, you go ahead. I'll just grab another form of transportation here and I'll go my direction.
Yes. And the
Like
most that you
everybody,
might,
go ahead.
yeah. And the most that you'll do for them is help them find a public mode of transportation. Like you'll help
Right.
them find a rickshaw and you've done
Right.
your duty. Then you can be like, okay, I did my bit. Now I can go home.
Exactly.
You'll do that much.
So it's very kind of very difficult to imagine. Why don't we go back and just listen to the timeline again?
Yes, let's do that. I think that's a good idea.
Let's just see if we can get with Indrani and just get this clear.
Let's try.
All
We'll
right, I'm just going
try.
to share my screen and we're going to go back.
Okay.
Let's just start at this again and just hear it all the way through.
Okay.
Yes, Sheena sent me a message when she left Taj Land's End, which was around 8:30 in the evening on the 24th. And that message was saying that she's on the way to Royal China for dinner.
Okay, on the way to Royal China,
8:30.
8:30.
Yes.
Right? And that's that. Love you, XX. And she basically just said, just left Taj Land's End on way to Royal China for dinner, XX. Now, I phoned up Royal China, and they were open on that night. They weren't closed. So something has changed the plan between Taj Land's End from heading towards Royal China, which is what Sheena obviously thought she was doing.
Okay. I think that's
Yeah.
even worth noting. So he's drawing, he's drawing some understanding, right? That
Mhm.
that this is the time, this is what I understand, that something took place between 8:30 and whenever in Royal China.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, apparently she was dropped off at Amarsan's sort of an hour later, 9:30 or something. And what there's just Papa, there's something going on. I'm sorry, this is not right. You know it as well, Anna. You know it.
Indrani, just while you called just now, and I told you I'll call you back, and the signal was bad and everything. So I was waiting, and Indrani said, "Listen, we drove past Royal China. It was shut, and if you want, you can go there and check if these people came in for dinner that night." Right?
They said that they went through their bookings list of the 24th for me, and they said there was no booking of Sheena or Indrani or Mukerjea or Bora, but they were definitely open. They had other guests there. They were not closed.
Mm.
when we went into Taj, yeah? When we went into Taj, that time was
You know what?
what we did.
I just realized something,
Mm-hmm.
which may be a small point, but it just struck me that she's obvious, like she seems to be playing both sides of it. So it's like we obviously didn't go to dinner to Royal China because it was shut. So there's no real way to check that she went there, right? If she didn't go, there's no way to check. If she's saying she couldn't even get a booking because it was shut. But she's also not giving a time. It's like once Rahul supposedly gets back to her with a time as to when Royal China opened, she'll be like, "Yeah, we went there before that." So how do you really corroborate what she's saying? If she's saying she didn't have dinner there, she won't commit to a time, then how do you really check what she's saying?
Right. I mean, let's hear how she handles that.
Yeah.
Let's just listen to that again.
Okay.
Uh
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt us, but
no, that's okay. I'm just
okay.
thinking like all she said so far was that they went by, and this went by thing is really interesting. Went by, we went
Yes.
by, we went by.
Yeah.
You know that like yeah.
Yeah.
And you know they were shut. The shutters were
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
When they went into Taj,
Let me tell you.
yeah, one second.
I mean, you guys speak to the people from Royal China. No, they said they've been open.
No, I know. 1 second, darling. Just hold on a second, please.
You know what? It just occurs to me. So first point is, was it even open? Right? First point. So just to be
Mhm.
clear, like it is open according to Rahul.
Yes.
No matter
Yes.
what the timeline is, if he knows that it's 6:30, right when she's dropped, and they
Mm-hmm.
went shopping after that, and then
Mm-hmm.
you put on to that getting from Armison's to Royal China, right? Then by 7 o'clock, they're
Yeah.
open. So just clarifying, just keeping us all together
Yeah.
here. Try to keep
But
us all together here.
he was also saying that from Taj, Sheena messaged him at 8:30 saying that they're going to Royal China. So I
Correct.
wondered if they have the like the whole sequence of events is very different. Anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Right. So we're just trying to now do what from Indrani's side. I think we're clear on what Rahul is asking and what he's
Yes.
understood. Now
Yes.
so you know he's thinking, okay, now even if you did go to Royal China on the way to the Taj, which is not what the message says,
Hmm.
he's gonna like explore that.
Yeah. Yes.
So we're telling you guys listening that we have no way of getting this to work between 6:30 and 7. That would be the fastest sorry shopping on the that has
Yes.
ever happened in mankind. And
Yeah.
to get through even to that place from Armison's, you would be dropped off at Armison's and just then go right to Royal China, is what we're trying to say, right? Like to
Yeah.
make it for it to be shut.
Yeah. And it's also a reunion. It may not be the happiest one, but it's also a reunion. So
Yeah,
even if
keep
it's
us on that.
awkward and
Keep
stuff.
us on that point. Keep us on
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I can't
you know, it's easy to
imagine.
forget.
Yes. Like it's a mother and daughter meeting. And even if they don't like each other in that moment, you don't zip past all of these things. And you likely also have a concrete plan of some sort. Like if you know you're going to be meeting, wouldn't you make the booking at the restaurant ahead of time? I don't know. It's a reunion. It's going to take longer than half an hour to complete your sari shopping and go for dinner,
Well, correct. And
in my
I
mind.
think it's very odd. Like, I'm just going to say this since we're talking about this, is
Hmm.
like, you know, if it's a reunion, why wouldn't you go to a restaurant and sit? Who's wanting to
Yeah.
go sorry shopping? Like, who's
Yes.
fixed that in all of this? It's just
Yeah.
not, it is so like not Indian. You know what I
It's
mean?
not. Yeah.
So which is basically kind of what you're saying, but I just kind of want to say it directly.
Yes.
This is not the likely scenario, but okay, if let's say if nobody does want to talk, but it's interesting that the idea is then going sorry shopping. So, is this something that was said, oh, I'd like to buy you a sorry? Maybe, you know. I mean, like as a
Yeah.
peace
Yes.
offering, let's go shopping, I'll buy you something nice. Okay, I can understand.
Yes.
Other
Yeah.
than that, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like you'll sit across, even again, if it's a not if it's an unhappy reunion, you'll sit across from that person no matter how awkward it is, and you'll still do that dinner instead of trying to avoid and trying to fill that time with these kinds of activities that Indrani is suggesting.
Right.
You won't do that.
Right.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's very weird.
Rahul?
Hi.
Hi.
Sure.
Actually, listen, so that nobody is confused, I'm just giving you the sequence of events, okay? Sheena came at 6:30 to Amarsan's.
Yeah.
Okay, she bought a sari there.
Okay.
Okay, I bought her a sari because she wanted to buy a sari there.
Okay.
Okay? So we bought a sari there, and I'm sure I'll have the receipt already. You can go and ask her. She tried on 6-7 different saris. Okay?
Cool.
Out of that, she bought one sari,
Yeah.
a new sari, brand new sari with 2 blouse pieces, everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we went to a jeweler shop.
That's a weird ad.
Yes, extremely.
Who you're not going into the shop to buy used saris. Like,
yes.
why is she emphasizing a brand new sari? So I'm going to write that down
Okay.
because I'm wondering what that means. Because it is a very odd thing to say. We both know, and we want everybody listening to know, that is a truly odd thing because they don't sell used clothing in there. I don't know why that's emphasized.
Yeah, and we as a culture also have a thing against buying secondhand. Like we'd much rather buy something that's very inexpensive than buy something that we really like that is secondhand. It's not a cultural thing for people to buy secondhand stuff. So even if by some long shot Amar Sons had used saris, very unlikely that they would buy a used sari.
And we're just going to go on the record as saying Armison's doesn't sell used saris.
It does not. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no way, no how, but okay.
Yeah.
I just found that like really odd.
You know what else I found odd there is that she said she somewhere has the receipt of it. So is that her way of saying that I bought her a brand new sari?
Well, that's what I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, like that's one interpretation. Like I'm a really good mother here. She wanted to go sari shopping, so
Yeah.
sorry, I went with her, and
Yeah.
I did that out of the goodness. She wanted to go, so I went.
Yeah.
And then, I bought her a brand new sari.
Yeah.
And then,
with
like,
2 blouse pieces.
with the 2 blouses, I was just going to say,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, we don't
Yeah.
talk like that. Like, guys, by the
No.
way, guys are not interested. Just saying. He's
No.
talking to a male. He does not care how
Oh.
many sari blouses. So it's like, what is with all the embroidering and extra information that it relates to 0 things other than is she trying to say I'm super generous, I'm the good guy?
She'll embellish all of this, but the stuff that she's supposed to remember, like big events, like where she was, what time, like she won't even give an approximate there. So
Right,
it's
and
like
we're
you
right.
tried 6-7 saris, got 2 blouse pieces, has a receipt, but what time were you at Royal China? I don't know, like somewhere in the evening. Well, that's
Okay, so
helpful.
now just because we brought up the 2 blouse pieces again, I'm just
Yeah.
like, this is again another thing of like, now she says blouse pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so that would kind of suggest that there was no tailor happening there. There's no measurements being taken, whatever. They're just taking the pieces of fabric that will be made into a sari blouse. But it's so strange that it's like she bought 1 sari but 2 blouses. Okay, we're just gonna go with that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
now, you understand how that weird that is, right? Because typically people do not get 2 blouse pieces for one
No,
sari. Very, very
no.
kind of unusual. Like, and I don't know why. What the point? Again, what is the point? But is it
Yeah,
to
so
just hide the receipt? Like, okay, there was a receipt. Like, is it just to slip that in? Like, have something to sandwich that receipt in between? I don't know.
no clue. But also, like for the benefit of our listeners, like typically when you buy a sari, if it's for an occasion, you'll get one blouse with it, and it's usually like there's a blouse that'll come with it that's it matches like in the work that it has on it. So
Or the
if you're
color.
buying the
Hmm.
color, yeah. So it'll
Something.
be yeah, something, but it'll be like it's like buying um those matching sets like where you have the top or the jacket and the pants. So it's
Correct.
something like that. And the only time you'll have extra blouses if you're just getting blouses made that you can pair with regular use saris. So if it's for an occasion, which this seems to be, you won't really buy two blouses. You'll have one blouse that goes with it because it's like a unique piece that you'll wear. You'll wear both of those things together for that occasion.
Correct.
So that's what we mean by it's weird that there's two blouse pieces.
Right. This
Not
this
just that.
this to an Indian's ears would be like already sus. Like
Yeah.
what? You know, so we're only pointing it out because this is already kind of alerting you. Like if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
most women would be already kind of crinkling their brows and squinting their eyes thinking, "What?"
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Seems to be every word. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like everything is like, "Look over there. Look at the birdie
Yeah.
over there." You know?
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Made us
crazy.
suspicious.
So, anyone
Yes.
listening to just this much who is knows these areas and knows sari shopping is already confused. Used? No. New.
Yes.
What? Not one piece, two piece. Already, it's like ringing so many alarm bells. We have to pass that on. We have to pass that on that this is already sort of like what? Like what?
Yeah.
What is she saying? This would not fly already for so many people. Just that much. Okay. Now we've
I
gotten out of the way.
yes. I
We've
honestly I can't believe that we're still uncovering stuff like 3 hours into these calls. I don't get it. I thought we were pretty much done saying everything we had to say, but just every
yeah.
word reveals new information.
Yes.
It's
And
kind
these
of
are like little rabbit holes. What?
yes. Oh
Huh?
yeah.
What?
Yes.
So we'll
Love it.
see how many are ahead.
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
You post a jeweler shop. You know, when you cross a jeweler shop, you cross, when you go whatever to Taj Lands End,
Yeah.
you go past Royal China.
Yeah.
Okay?
You go
And
Waterfield
Sheena
Road.
told me that latest, yeah.
Okay. So, back to the map idea. So what
Mhm.
she's saying is they've gone to Ammerson's, right? And they've
Mhm.
passed the jewelers. So that tells us kind of a direction. So they're not going up Hill Road, right? They're going the other way. So they're going up a little ways and see now again, this is like such a weird thing. So they do the U-turn. That means they do the U-turn because there's no left. There's no left there to go by these jewelers. Just saying. Like, okay. We're going to keep going and we're going to point out stuff as we go. But you agree, right? If you're at Armison's, your car's parked next to it. That lane only goes one way. There's no left to go past those jewelers from here. You have to go all the way up and U-turn. If she says what she just said, that's what that means.
The only thing I could now I'm getting confused because of like with the left and right hand drive. But
Yes.
I'm thinking like if the only way it would make sense if like they went to the Notan Das on Hill Road, uh yeah, on Hill Road, So they would cross the street and then
But there
go
is no
straight
one
down.
on Hill Road. It's Turner Road, right?
Okay, let me show
Should we
you
pull it
this
up?
again. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that if she goes to the jeweler store here, then she can just come down straight and go this way. That's the only way I can see it
But
make any
but
sense.
you can't go that way. That's my whole point. You have to go. This has got a boulevard, right? It's got that divider. So you have to
Yes.
go all the way up past Armasons. See what I mean? You can there's no U-turn there.
Well, unless they cross the street and do this.
But on
Oh, you
foot?
mean here?
Yeah, you can't. There's no
Oh,
left.
okay.
You got
Yes.
to
Oh,
go
I see
all
here.
the way up, and then
Yes.
you have
Yes.
to go almost a car,
Yes. Like here.
and then go that way. Yes.
You mean
So
here? Okay, okay. I was thinking here, but you mean like the main junction here where
yeah,
Bandra
you
Station is.
can't go backwards there.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Yeah, you
So
would go
you
this
have to
way.
go that way. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
more time.
More time. Yes.
More
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. But I just am like, okay, now again, we're just listening to this, going along and trying to imagine how this happens. So she's got to come at it
Yeah.
from the backside.
Yes. Yeah, and the map is wrong here because it's like an open street. There is no roundabout here. The map is
Yeah, that's
suggesting
no
that.
roundabout, right?
No roundabout. Yeah.
So even
Yeah.
though Google Maps is showing it that way, our point is, even though it's showing it that way, that's not a possibility in
No.
actual terms.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, it's, already like, okay. Anyway, we're going to press on. I'm
No,
just like,
I get
I'm
it.
like, okay, so
Yeah.
we're trying to visualize this.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's a good point. That's a good catch. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like,
Yes.
And not in that, yeah, that I need to be back in front of my sons by 9:15. I need to be back. Okay?
Right.
So at that point when we went, I said, fair enough.
okay, see, that's what I'm confused by. She says, I need to go back. Now, is she talking as if she's Sheena? Or is she saying her? I need to go back? You know what I mean? We'll keep going, but I'm just saying, she doesn't say
Yeah.
Sheena needs to go back,
Yes.
and she doesn't
Yeah.
say, so
Yeah.
that too is confusing, but we'll press on, but keep that in mind.
Okay.
If we have time, because we were both hungry also. If we have time, we will eat. And your Royal China was shut at that point. Okay, so when we went, and I tried calling the Royal China number also, it was shut. I mean, obviously because it was shut, nobody picked up. We went to Taj Lands End. When we left Taj Lands End, it was tentatively about, I don't know, tentatively. I mean, I'm just giving all very, because I have not kind of checked and looked at the watch every minute or anything, okay?
Obviously.
Must have been whatever, 8:45, 9, probably 9:15, I'm not sure, but I was back home, okay? I was back home by 9:45. So
Okay.
from Amarsan's, whatever time it takes to reach home, it should not be more than half an hour,
Yeah.
which is why I was asleep. Because I had a guest, Mikhail, who flew in from, I'm just giving you, who flew in from outside, okay?
Okay.
Who's
Okay, I'm sorry, but we have to stop again.
Yes, we do.
That was a lot.
Yes.
So she's now saying that she believed, okay, she's not looking at her watch. She makes that point.
Yeah.
8:45 from Taj.
Yeah.
Something like that, because
Yes.
why? She has to be now. It's sounding like now she has to be back at
Yes.
9:15 because why? She has a guest. And who is that guest, Sneha?
Her son?
Right, but she doesn't say that.
Yeah, she says guest. That's one of my points. I was like one of the points I've written down. Why are you saying guest? And who's we?
So this is, not an uncommon name, right? Like it's not like that uncommon of a name. It's also not that common of a name.
Yes.
But it's really funny here because I'm wondering what Rahul is thinking at that moment, because she knows
Yes.
Sheena's brother's name is Mikhail.
Yeah.
He knows. No, so, but why is she not saying that? We know. Okay, so let's just contemplate. Why doesn't she just say? Because
Yeah. Yes.
why is she not specifying? Why is she not specifying which Mikhail she's talking about? What is your thought?
Oh, I think it gives somewhere before she's mentioned that of course Sheena didn't come to stay over. If she says Mikhail is Sheena's brother, it would make that look stupid. Obviously, Sheena would go to see her. Like, there is good reason for Sheena to go and see her brother if her brother's anyway coming to Indrani's house. And if Indrani, like she's saying that, like, he'll stay over, good chance that Sheena will also stay over. So, my point being that it it doesn't look good for Indrani that Sheena would leave when Sheena likely knows, and Indrani knows that Mikhail, who's Sheena's brother, is going to meet Indrani later that night. Good chance that Sheena would go along with Indrani to see her brother.
Correct. Because they also haven't seen each other.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to really... Okay, so here's the other thing that is going
Yeah.
through my head, and really check me on this.
Okay.
But I'm also like, this is also kind of laying the groundwork in a way where is this a possible putting a suspect in a picture down the line?
Say more.
Okay, so she's not telling Rahul, right? Now, she's not telling him who this is at this point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, if Indrani was involved, if she mentions this at this point, that so that she can say later, I even told you that her brother was in the city, can she not also blame him? Like, yeah, here's another suspect, her brother.
Mm. But I think,
Like, he
okay.
also was there. But she's not ready to say that at this point, but it's there if she needs it. I'm just saying, is that possible?
I think what's interesting about that is that would mean that Mikhail would have to kill Sheena and reach Indrani's house before Indrani gets there. Unless he did it at some other point in time.
Exactly my point. So it's like it is so fascinating that you would not say the obvious here. So it's like, why is she trying to hide
Yeah.
that that's who is at her house? Now she's making it sound like I must get back to the guest. I mean,
Yeah, and
doesn't it like blow your mind a little bit? Like, okay, is this one of the possible, like, she's working ahead of time. Now we're like almost 2 weeks right from her disappearance,
yeah,
right?
yes.
And it's like if she's involved,
Mm-hmm.
she's in the business of alibi creation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I also think that if she knows she has a guest coming over and the timeline is so tight, she would keep an eye out on the time and where she's at what time.
Of course she would. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it goes without.
Yeah.
But that's if
'Cause
it's premeditated. So
even otherwise, like if she's claiming that she doesn't know where she was at what time, she, to my mind, she would keep an eye out on where she is, like let's say at 8:45. If she has to be home by 9:30 or 9:15, she'll keep enough like that's how Bombay traffic is. You want to keep enough margin. If you have a guest coming at home, you want to get there in time. So you will be cognizant of what the time is in your whereabouts that evening so that you don't lose track of it and you don't leave your guest hanging. Right?
well, I don't think she cares about leaving her son hanging because he'll just sit there.
Yes.
But I guess what I'm saying is that this goes back to the other question. Is this something that just spun out of control and the decision was made
Yeah.
spontaneously? Or is this, a premeditative act?
Yeah.
And so this is like, you got to play it both ways, right? So,
Yes.
but what we do know is that whatever happened, it happened on the 24th, 2 weeks previous. So this is, if someone's in the business, if this is all alibi construction,
Yeah.
it's very interesting that she's not saying that this is her son waiting. It's got to be a guest.
Yeah.
So there's different reasons for that. But is it possible that she's already putting her son in the frame? Like laying the groundwork. Just
Yeah. It's possible.
does that sound crazy?
Nothing's crazy for this woman. So
All right. No, but I'm
yeah.
just like, that is so fascinating that we know this to be true because Mikhail does tell us in the documentary that he was absolutely there that night, which we've
Yeah.
discussed. So it's really interesting that at this point in time, a couple weeks after the disappearance, she's not ready to say that he was there. And I think it's a lot for the reasons what you're suggesting, But it's also interesting that she bothers to say this at all.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, why can't she just said we have guests?
A guest. Yeah. Exactly what I was thinking.
Now, let me further complicate this for you. Is
Uh-oh.
Peter in the room? Does he know that Mikhail was there that night? Like, when Indrani takes the phone, is Peter sitting there at this moment? Is he even aware? Why is he not saying it? What is
Yeah, he's
what is the
nowhere.
thing?
He's not heard. So I wonder. Because at some point, Indrani also says, we, like our guest, like we were having a guest over. So if it's not her and Peter, then who is this we? So my point being, to answer your question, that Peter should have known if the we that she's referring to is Peter and her.
But here's the thing. He wasn't in the country.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
again, my mind is explodes at this point when I think, okay, is Peter in the room right now listening to this conversation? Or is he just so fed up he's letting Indrani talk? Is he even listening really at this point? You know what I mean? Or is he hearing every word? Does he already know that Mikhail was there? Like it
kind of seems like he's not there, right? Because he's not interrupted at all.
I would agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he's there.
Yeah.
But it's like planting a seed, right? Of some sort. That's how I'm seeing it for now. We can keep going. But I mean, I just went like, this is so weird. We know who this is. She's not telling Rahul something very like most people would say, Sheena's brother had come down and we had him and I had to get home.
Names him, but won't actually specify
exactly
the
my point.
We'll see how many blouses, how many saris were tried. Yeah.
Why say his name?
Yeah. Really.
Crazy.
And Mikhail is not a common name in the sense like it's more like it's not a common Hindu name. It's more of it's not a common Hindu name. So good chance that that's the Mikhail she's referring to, especially that we know that
right.
Mikhail.
So it's not like I was saying, it's not uncommon exactly.
Yes.
But it's not common.
Common, yeah.
So, I mean, could there be another Michaela? Yes, there could be. Would that automatically be like a crazy that there would be another one? No, not
Yeah.
necessarily. But it would certainly be, I'm wondering what Rahul thinks here. Like, what are the
Yeah.
chances? And he
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
say
not.
a word.
Yeah. He knows he's talking to somebody who's not necessarily going to listen. Like, she's not somebody who's receptive to what he has to say.
I know, but he's not saying a word. Like,
Yeah.
I think that he's sharp enough to go, huh, right there.
Yeah, yes.
Things
Oh,
that make
yes.
you go, hmm. Like, what
Yes.
did she just say? But he
Who
doesn't,
was
he's
it?
smart enough not to say a word.
Yes.
I mean, it's a show-stopping thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's
We've
see
had
what
a
else
few
we
here.
got here.
Yeah.
A very dear friend of ours.
Yeah.
Now, this friend was waiting because the house was locked. I'm giving you a little bit of a background. Went to numbering downstairs.
Yeah.
Waited there. So I went there, got him, and then he came up. We got him. Then he was there. He spent the night there at home.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just giving you a little bit of a background. Now, I didn't want to get into so much of detail.
Yeah.
So this is what the background to the...
Really? Didn't want to give so much?
But I will give you the background.
But I am
didn't
going
wanna
to give you this background.
Yeah. Stop me if you can.
I'm just shaking my head over here. All right. Let's see.
Royal China thing is.
So it was closed or it wasn't closed? I didn't quite catch what you were saying.
Sorry? When we went in, it was shut. After that, I don't know. After that, it was already about 9 o'clock. She said, I have to leave.
Right. Okay.
When we went past, it was shut. Okay, this was the...
Okay, so that is just completely contradictory.
Yeah.
By that
you can
time, it was.
skip
Did
yes.
she just say by that time it was already 9 o'clock? Did I?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so everyone, did they go to Royal China before they went to the Taj? They went to Royal China after the Taj. Did they even go to Royal China? Different question.
Yeah.
But we've heard that they went prior to going to the Taj
Yes.
from her. Now she's saying it was already 9 o'clock.
And yeah, why would you even bother going to Royal China if you have to be somewhere at 9:30 and you claim Sheena has to be somewhere at 9:15? Why would you even stop at a dinner restaurant?
Which we've said.
Yeah.
Circular, like this conversation. But did you not notice how she just stuck that in
Yes.
at the end?
Beautifully.
Definitely. So, he's like, I still don't understand. When did you go?
Yeah.
Right?
And was it closed or open?
She gives this
What are you
opposite-
saying?
She gives a completely different answer.
Yeah.
Here we go. That's all I can say is here we go. Buckle up, everyone.
Yeah.
So you can ask the Royal China guys what time they open. No, you'll get a sense of what time they open.
They must be
I mean, you
opening
can
around
go and
6 or
check
something.
with them.
Yeah.
Sorry?
They must be opening at around 6 or something, no? 6, half 6 for...
So ask them, no? Then you know what time they open because we couldn't have crossed it before 6.
Yeah, well,
Correct? We would have crossed it at least by about 7:30. So why don't you give him a call, ask, and you get back to me, not tell me.
I got a message.
And then you can go and...
I got a message from Sheena at about 8:34, saying that she's just left Taj Land.
Sorry. Now it's
No, you're
7:30.
fine.
Just
Yeah.
now
Yes.
it's 7:30. Definitely
Yeah.
not before 6. Well, of course it wasn't before 6 because you
Well,
didn't meet
duh.
until 6:30.
Yes. Yeah.
10-second backup. 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't-
But it's
Because
like
we're gonna-
such a loose recounting of facts. It's like if Rahul calls her up and tells her that, listen, they said they open at 7. She'll be like, yeah, I told you. Like we were there only before 7. Like she can wiggle out of it is what I mean.
Of
So she's
course,
not
this
committing
is
to
what we're
anything.
demonstrating slowly
Yeah.
to everyone
Yes.
who's listening. Like,
Yes.
we're still sitting here going, what? First, it was on the way to the Taj. It was shut. We couldn't go there. That's why we went to the Taj. Mind you, we didn't eat there.
Yes.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Yes.
We got to get to the bottom of this now. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if she's going to let us, but let's keep going.
Yeah.
At about 8:30, 8:34, saying that she's just left Taj Land's End and she's on way to Royal China for dinner. So that's the impression.
Rahul, you have received a whole bunch of messages. You've received a whole bunch of messages. I'm not disputing that, okay? I'm not saying for once, but you cannot choose and pick, only this message I want to believe, this message I don't want to believe. You can't do that.
I'm going through them one by one, trying to, get out the information.
So what I want you to do, Rahul?
Okay, what does she mean? Let's remind the listeners. What is she talking about? You've received all these messages. What is she referring to?
It seems like she's referring to the text messages that Sheena and Rahul exchanged the night that Indrani and Sheena were together.
And the ones the next morning, right?
Yes.
So she's saying, "Hey, you can't cherry pick." Right? Which of these messages? You've received a whole bunch of messages, Rahul. So what is she saying?
To me, he's not cherry picking. He's just, like he said, he's just trying to piece things together. But I think what she could possibly be saying, and tell me like if you're thinking the same thing, if this is the real Sheena messaging him, or the supposed, someone else messaging from Sheena's phone number.
Mm-hmm. So
But
she's
he's
already
not cherry picking.
she's kind of saying something like, "Hey, it's like a weird thing to open at this point. We both know. Like, why are you even talking about this? Again, we're off track, but okay." She's using this opportunity to say, okay, so which ones are fake? Like, you have said they're fake.
Yeah.
Some are fake. So then how could this, isn't she saying, so you're saying these other ones were fake. So doesn't this mean that this could also be fake?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Because, that nails her to a timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That makes absolute sense.
All right.
It's baffling, but it makes sense.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's baffling, but it makes sense. Yeah. That's all I was saying.
Yes. We're kind of pulling it out of Indrani logic. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going through them one by one, trying to, get out the information.
So what I want you to do, Rahul, two things I want you to do. I want you to check with Royal China what time do they open. When we went, it must have been, I'm just sensing, it must have been, say, around when we went to Taj, it must have been around 7:15, whatever. 6:30 she met me, let's say 7:15. Now ask them that were they shut or open. Just call them and ask them, look, what time do you open? The shutter was shut. Yeah. What time do you open your shutters? Now if they tell you that, yes, we open at 6 o'clock, then it's a different thing. Then, I must have imagined that if they say we open it at 7:30 or 8, then what I'm telling you is true, no?
Yeah, correct.
So will you call them and do that for me, please?
Yeah,
just check once.
Of course.
Yeah, call them and do that.
Okay. Any thoughts there? Like,
I love that explanation. That I must be imagining if it wasn't short.
Yeah, so I'm gonna set that up now. Maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing though. I'm just imagining.
And also, by the way, a few minutes ago I was telling you it must have been 9.
Yeah. 9, 7:30, 7:15. It's just.
So she's like figuring this out as she's talking, is what I'm thinking at this point.
Yes.
Because she's doing the math now. Like, okay, 6:30. Okay, that's sorry shopping. Okay, I mean, let's just drop the jeweler.
Yes.
Because Rahul, like, why hasn't she found out when Royal China was open?
Yeah.
Because she didn't think she had to. Because guess what? She didn't think that there was this text.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you. She didn't think she would be questioned.
this magical dinner that never happened with the shutters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That, no, and then you also find out, no, that the two.
Okay, really, why does she want him to find out? What you got any theories about that? Like, what is this insistent? This is not the first time that she's sending on him an errand. Go find out. Go
Yeah.
find out. Go find out. What would be a strategy here if she's involved to tell him to go find out? Maybe I'm jumping too early in this. Maybe we need to continue along, and I'm cool with that. But let's think about that. Why is it that he has to find out? There has to be a reason to it beyond, the obvious. She's already heard him say that he's already called them. He's already told her the time.
Yeah.
So now what is in it? What is in it for her to tell him to go find out?
That's actually a good question. The only thing that I can come up with is that either she's hoping that he checks, drops it, she doesn't have to entertain it anymore. Or if she comes back and if he comes back and he says, like, confronts her with the time, then she knows how to play it with him. What are your theories?
Okay,
Uh-oh.
two thoughts just came to
Yeah.
me, and they're both jumping in my head at the same time. So I'm going to try to pick one and not try to forget the other one.
Okay.
Okay. So, I can go with she's trying to send him on an errand, get off the topic, divert, whatever, like muddy this water further, just go check. Let's not talk about this anymore. Could be something like that, possibly.
Mhm.
But what if, so the other thing that just occurred to me is like, okay, this is an insistent thing. If it's not to divert and distract, would there be another point? Well, maybe the other point is that, I'm thinking like, why doesn't she call? So I'm going a little different direction suddenly. Okay. So I hope I'm not,
I'm with you.
complicating things further, but it's
Nope.
more like, okay, why isn't the first thing you think, why doesn't she just call them? Why does she need Rahul to call?
Yes. Yes.
So let's go off of that for a second. Why doesn't she want to call them? Let's go from that direction. Why doesn't she want to call them?
It always sounds like a power play to me.
Okay.
Like, I'll send this kid who doesn't know any better on this errand. Let him do the work.
I'm wondering
But
if
I know
it's
there's
something
more to
like,
it.
sorry, what? Go ahead.
No, but I'm sure there's something more to it that I'm missing. I can't see beyond that.
Well, no, but it just is like, see, that really stuck out. Like, why is she insisting on him calling? Why is she not interested in this if this is part of her alibi?
Yes.
If we're in busy, if this is alibi construction, okay,
Yeah.
why isn't she not pursuing this herself so that her story is straight? Now, I realize that she didn't know that potentially that he has this text, but even if he didn't, this is part of her story. So
Yeah.
wouldn't you check to make sure? So part of the story is that it's not open. Okay, if that's part of the story, wouldn't you call to find out when they open so that if there's a retelling of this at any point in time, you can say, yeah, they're not open at that time. That's how I know that,
Yeah, I agree.
Like, why
Yeah,
would
it's
you
weird.
not do that? You've had 2 weeks, right? Like,
Yes.
she's been gone for days. So
Yeah.
is it, do you think it's that she's somehow nervous about calling over there? That, first of all, like, she's not going to want to ask anybody else to call over there,
Yeah.
right? Is it
Yeah.
that she is afraid if she calls, her number is on there? Like, it could be on her phone. records, or that it could be on the records of the restaurant? Like, what if they have some kind of recording system for phone numbers so that they can call people back for, you know what I mean? Is it that then she's seen to be checking this out?
But see, that she could call from a payphone or borrow somebody else's phone. Her voice is distinct, but still, it's not necessarily traceable back to her.
Unless they're there all the time.
Meaning?
Meaning it's a restaurant they go to all the time.
Ah, yes.
In which
yes.
case, it is possible in Mumbai that if you continuously go to a place, they would recognize your voice. It is possible. But then it's like
Yes.
you say, there's a million ways to catch that one. Right? So, but I'm just saying, isn't it really interesting that she doesn't just, like, why doesn't she want to know this for her own?
Yes. For her own defense.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just a little small exploration of, like, what is the most commonsensical thing to have done?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting also because her story would be stronger. She wouldn't have to keep playing around with the time and saying we were there at 7, at 6:30, at 6, at 9, at 8:30. If she really knows when the restaurant opened, even if she looks it up on Google or online, she could have found out when the restaurant would open. So either it's like I can't
Why
say
is she placing herself there? Like, what has happened? So let's go at it from
yes,
another direction. What is
yes.
it why is it that she wants to place them there? And maybe we're going to find out in a
Mm,
few, like if we let the phone calls continue. But
yeah.
I'm just saying this is there's something here. That's all I would say. And
Yeah, I feel maybe sorry,
yeah,
go on.
go ahead.
Maybe something comes up in Sheena's texts. Also, like one other thing could be that there's no way she could possibly be at Royal China when it's shut, because if Royal China opens at 7, then which I think it did, and if she met Sheena at 6:30, it's not really plausible that she was there at Royal China while it was still closed. Good chance they made it there when it was open. So one other theory could be that she's flip-flopping because she has no way to show that they were there when it was actually closed.
That's correct. But why bring it up at all then? So
Yeah. Yes.
So you're right, but it's like, okay, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
Did they actually go to Armison's, for example?
Yes. Yes.
Did that
Yeah.
even happen?
Yeah, I've questioned that one before.
Right. And it's like, okay, I have the receipt. Okay. All right.
Why
Nobody
do
asked
you have
you.
anything?
Nobody asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to get some answers here.
Women come. They'll give you a full distinct. Yeah, there'll be receipts. There'll be distinct. There's cameras. For God's sake, they'll see us there.
Yeah, well, they don't have cameras, but they said, they have booking information and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it can't be possible that two of us go there and nobody sees us, no?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you first do that, Rahul. I want you to first call, find out. I don't know what time it opens, and call me back. Call me.
If I am to believe that if her message was genuine, right? If her message was genuine, and she's heading to Royal China for dinner, then something in between 8:34 and 9:15 her plan has changed, right?
Listen, if
it's a big
the
if.
message is genuine, if Royal China was genuinely open, okay?
Yeah.
When we went in, I am not kind of, just cooking this up to tell you. When we went, it was shut. Okay, I also tried calling that number. I called my secretary for the number. I tried calling in case they pick it up or whatever. Nobody picked up, and then we went.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking right here? I called my secretary.
Yeah. That's verifiable. But why say that? Even if she's innocent, I'm just gonna say this. Even if she's innocent, it's hard to listen to her.
Hmm. So is her problem that she did call the secretary? So she can't escape the Royal China thing? It's also like, when did she call the secretary? Was it in advance of their meeting? If they're standing on the street, you know what I'm thinking? I'm like,
What?
if you, like okay, think back. If you didn't have a number, like if you couldn't Google, right? Like let's
Mm-hmm.
say you didn't have access to the internet and you didn't have a phone number, right? What did everybody do?
Yeah.
So everybody called Just Dial. I can give you that answer.
Yeah, or their junior who would pull up the information for them, like find that information.
And I find that really weird. Like, of the two things that, typically, I mean, see, I got a problem with this too. Like, yeah, a lot of people
Okay.
would call the junior,
Yeah.
but a lot of other people would just, do the Just Dial thing.
Yes.
It's faster, typically. Because what
Yes.
is the junior going to do? The junior
Do the same
is
thing.
likely to do Just Dial.
Yeah. Yes.
So you were supposed to like imagine that, she's made it sound like they're outside the car, right? Like we must have been seen. So it's not like they're sitting in the car, right? She made it sound like they're on the street doing all of this.
Yes. Yes. On the go.
Is that your impression too? That they're not sitting in a vehicle at this moment doing all this? They're actually outside the vehicle and doing all this.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a sport of the moment plan, and they're doing it as they go. Like, oh, where do we eat? Royal China. Okay, let me call my secretary. Get the number.
Right. And they're standing on the road.
Yeah.
It's not possible, she said, for no one to see us there. Yeah. I mean, that's like loaded. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep going.
Okay.
I'm shaking my head. Just saying. Thus, sketch.
And then, by about, we must have actually left Taj only by about probably 9 o'clock or so, not even before that. So, if I remember correctly, I don't know
Did
what
you hear
time
that?
she sent you.
No.
I didn't either.
Did
Let's
you?
back it up. Let's try it again.
Okay. Okay.
So, not even before that. So, left Taj only by about probably 9 o'clock or so, not even before that.
Couldn't hear
So,
it.
if I remember
No.
correctly, I don't know what time she sent you a message or all that. I don't know about what messages she's been constantly on the phone. Okay, even when she was talking to me, she was on the phone. So it wasn't like she was not on the phone.
She was not on the
She was constant. It was not that she was not on the phone. She was constantly on the phone on SMSs and all. So I don't know whom she was, whether she was SMSing you, whether she was SMSing someone else. I don't know all that. No. So you just check on this at what time do they open the shutters. Just ask them that.
Yeah.
So then you will know that if they say okay, we open the shutters at 7:30, then you know that I'm speaking the truth, no?
So
Then there
hang
is
on.
nothing.
What time did you go past Royal China?
I don't know. Probably 6:30 you dropped her.
Okay.
Then we went. She looked around, got some sarees from Amar's son, and then we went from there. We went past Royal China, went to this place near Moti Mahal.
She looked around, she checked out 6 saris and she
She
bought
bought a saree. She bought a saree.
She tried on 5 or 6 saris and she bought one.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And she had
she
2
tried on
blouses
about 3,
also.
4 sarees.
Okay,
Yeah.
3, 4. So that would have
No,
taken...
blouse.
Okay, now it's 3 to 4 saris.
In the span of what, 20 seconds?
Earlier it was 6 or 7
Yes.
saris. So now we're shrinking the time at Armison's.
Yes. But not answering the question, what time we were at Royal China.
Nope, exactly. All right.
Okay.
They come with the saris. The blouses, they come with the saris. I don't have minute details, Rahul. I don't have everything because I have not been sitting there.
I'm just trying to think how long. I'm just trying to.
I need to keep account, no?
I'm just trying to think how long it takes to try on 3 or 4 or 5 saris, whatever. Okay, and then the time span. I have to work it out.
There are people who, Rahul, listen to me. Why don't you do one thing? You know, she must have SMS'd you when we went to Taj Lands and also. So you check what time we were at Taj Lands.
Wow.
She got some information.
Yeah.
She's wondering how many of these messages are floating around. Sorry. That's what I think.
Oh, totally. But you figure out the timeline. I, the person who was there, can't help because I lost track of time. But you
But I
figure
keep
it
giving
out.
you times.
Yes. Yes. But I won't give you minute by minute detail. Also,
Right.
can't answer your question when I was where. You figure it out. And then, I'll respond to you based on what
But
you
you
ask.
must, but you must have also gotten a text when we were at the Taj, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So now I got to figure that out.
Yeah. Nicely done.
So what would that have said, and how do I work that? Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Well, I mean, the message was at 8:34. She said she's on the way to.
Yeah.
On the way
so
to.
obviously we must have from Taj Lands, no? We must have been at Taj Lands at some time, no?
Yeah, you must have been there
before.
before.
And sent you a message, no?
Listen,
We went to
Indrani, there's no point giving silly examples. No, I'm trying to find out.
If you're trying to tell me, listen, if you're trying to tell me, Rahul, that I don't know about Sheena's disappearance. Let me tell you that.
Okay.
You have to believe me what I'm telling you. You have a choice of believing or not believing. I can only tell you what is true, not what you want to hear. Okay, I am giving you the exact sequence of events, whatever. I don't know whether she reached at 6:15 or 6:30. As per her message, she reached at 6:15. Okay, as per her message to me.
Okay.
Okay, so if she has reached at 6:15, she tried on about 3-4 saris, which these guys, helped them.
I wish I could stop having to stop.
I don't envy that job.
Now, she says she has a receipt, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, she just said that she reached there at 6:15. Had she forgot that Rahul dropped her off at 6:30, that he was there? But she's gotten a message from Sheena telling her that she's there already, which is to say, again, the timeline has shifted. So now I need some more time here. So
yes,
actually, she was there before me, and I came into the shop, and she was already shopping for sari.
You know what this reminds me of? When Alec Murdoch
Ring around the rosy. Okay,
when
go ahead.
Alec Murdoch is when he claims that he's at the murder scene 2 minutes before the murder supposedly happens and he got out of there. It's like everything happened so quickly just so that she could miss Royal China being open so that her story fits. It's like everything's expedited. Everything happened in a span of 5 minutes. It happened in like this unrealistic span of time just so that it can make her timeline fit.
Yeah, but it's like she's got a problem somewhere else. Like,
yes.
I agree with what you're saying. I'm just trying to understand what is the problem that she's having to deal with. Because is it just only on just that, okay, I said we were at Royal China and it was shut. Is it, is it just that simple? Or is there a need to have been at Royal China in this whole thing for some other reason? Now, that is what I'm not understanding, because it's like, why is she insisting on the story? Is it, and she even throws in this thing, I called my secretary, which is a problem for her, right?
Yes.
Because anybody would have to go to the secretary and say, did you call Royal China?
Yeah,
so
or did you
talk to somebody
Indrani?
else involved?
Yeah.
Why hang yourself there unless there has to be a reason for why this is so critical? And I'm not catching it. I guess I'm just not smart enough. But I just can't understand this. Now she's backing up a time where Rahul was the one who dropped her off. Now, up until this point, she's just said 6:30, 6:30, 6:30. But
Yeah.
no, Sheena was there at 6:15. Okay.
Yeah, and my text message trumps your memory, Rahul, of when you dropped her. So
I
the
guess
timeline
that's what
started
she's
at
going for.
6:15. Yeah.
But of course, this is the guy who's been obsessing about this for 2 weeks and has gone over this in his mind 100 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like he's forgotten, Indrani. He's not forgotten. Trust me, this guy has not forgotten a single bit of that night.
Yes.
It's his nightmare. It's his nightmare, and he's gone over it and over it and over it and over it. He's not confused about when he dropped her off.
No.
So I don't even know what this guy's saying. I mean, he's one way, just fed up. Just tell me when you're at Royal China, right? That's all he can. Is like, forget everything else. Whatever madness she's spouting.
Yeah.
Whatever madness she's spouting. Let me just get that answer. I don't get it.
I wonder if it's like you said before, that they are known at Royal China, and if there is somebody who says that they saw her there, that's what she's trying to address.
Like
very quickly.
she's with her at this time at this place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know either.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Tie, okay?
Yeah.
We don't take more than each sari doesn't take more than 2 minutes to try.
It's okay.
Anyway,
I know how long it takes one to
supposing
put on a
it
sari and try.
Supposing it takes 16 minutes, okay? Our sons also have cameras. They will show you what time we went in, what time we came out. You will get to know everything, Rahul.
Yeah.
So it is not, then we went to a jeweler shop. After we went to a jeweler shop, the jeweler shop will have cameras, no?
Okay. Which jeweler shop is it?
I told you, the Natundas, which is opposite Moti Mahal.
Okay,
Now,
cool.
on our way from Amarsons to Natundas, we saw that this Royal China was shut, okay? And then because when we crossed, that time she said, let's book in Royal.
So now the jewelers are back on.
Yeah.
And now it's like we're back to the same problem. How did she get from Armasons to the jewelers to Royal China before 7 o'clock? Not possible.
Yeah, I don't understand why these details are there in the first place. Why say that there was a sari purchase?
And then it's like there are cameras. She thinks there's cameras everywhere, apparently. Royal China has cameras. And he's like, they don't.
This is 2012. Sure. Yeah.
Like Armason has cameras. What is she, the surveillance expert of Mumbai? I mean, Sneha, do you know where there's surveillance cameras? Like, think of the shops and the places that you've been. Like,
yeah.
I mean, could you say with any certainty? I mean, in the jewelry shop, you hope to hell they have them.
Yes. But you still hope. You don't know for sure.
But I don't understand why she so she kind of omitted the jewelers in the last go round, and now they're back in. And this whole thing about the Moti Mahal, that really complicates her timeline. Because again, it's like I said, you have to go all the way up and take the U-turn and come back. Now that itself can take you 20 minutes. So again, no sense.
I wonder if she's saying cameras, because she thinks she's possibly been caught on camera and she can't back out of the story and say that we just walked around at Amarsons, thought we'll go to Royal China. Royal China was shut because we got there before 7. Blah, blah, blah. So I wonder if she's trying to recount everything because she thinks she's been caught on camera.
Well, it's like goes both ways. She wants to be seen with Sheena up until a
Yes,
certain point.
yes,
Then she doesn't want to be seen with Sheena after a certain point.
yes, yes,
So that's again, not to beat a dead horse here, but is that why she went to the Taj? Because actually that's a 5-star hotel and they're definitely going to have cameras.
yes,
So was the whole point of going to the Taj, part of this thing of we will be here, I frequent here, they know me here, we're going to be seen here to be together. But then it's like, how do you also unwind that? So they can be seen leaving the Taj together. Everything's fine. Everything's happy. They
yeah,
were happy, all that thing.
yeah.
Okay.
And
I
they're
mean,
also going to be
yeah.
they're also going to be caught if she's claiming that Amar Sons also has cameras. She will be seen leaving, like dropping Sheena off at Amar Sons. So that if she is guilty and if she is involved, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, I highly doubt. I mean, this is me. I'm just thinking, would Armansons have cameras on the outside? Probably not. Would they definitely have them
Oh.
inside? I would say yes.
Yes, a few though in 2012. Like I can't imagine it having too many.
No, of course not. And these would
Yeah,
not be like high quality cameras. They would not
yeah.
be. Like,
And
these are
they'll
not going to
rewrite
be
over
crystal
themselves.
clear images or any of that.
Yes.
It's not like
And not
if you're sitting in the US and there's like a surveillance room where someone's sitting all day watching the camera.
yes.
If you have that idea
Yeah.
out there, trust me, that's not the case.
No.
No such thing.
And who knows if they're even recording? Like a lot of times what these shops will have is they'll have the TV setup where they can watch the cameras, like the camera view, and they'll just keep an eye out on that and not actually record the day-to-day stuff.
Right.
Or they'll record just the day and then rewrite over themselves. So good chance that even if there's any camera footage, it's not really available because it's been rewritten on after the day that Sheena and Indrani were together at Amar Sons.
So I can tell you for a fact that the quality of cameras at that time in India were not good. And I can tell you that because I had a friend who was putting in security cams and in the end bought them from the US to bring back to India because the quality wasn't good. And the difficulty in getting enough, memory space was also an issue. So it was not
Yes.
only picture quality, it was also, the space required,
Yes.
memory required, all of that. And these systems were not highly developed in India at the time for personal use or
Yes.
even average everyday commercial use. Even major corporations would have been probably getting their equipment from outside, not within
Yeah.
the country. So I think it's important to say that. So for her to be like, cameras are everywhere. I mean, I'm telling you, as a consumer, as someone who lived in this area, so many shops would not have even had cameras operating. Like, it's astounding. You would be shocked. How few places
Yeah,
would have
given
had
the number
cameras.
of engineers and computer experts, etc., still not as developed.
Absolutely. Were there the
Yeah.
engineers to make that happen? Sure. And that is because there are so many people in the shop working that really it is not like people are. So the whole scene for this, criminal activity is very different. There's also so many shopkeepers in even the smallest of stores. They'll have multiple people. So, it's very difficult. I mean, in other words, they have enough people on the lookout also.
Yes.
Manpower. They go by manpower. And all these places have security guards, which that's another thing that people probably don't understand. There's
Yes.
typically security
Yes.
guards at the entrances in every, like, pretty much all the shops that definitely in the shops that are being mentioned here. There's even at the restaurant, there are security, there are what we call watchmen. They're in
Mhm.
every place. So, you have a real human being watching, not just
Yes.
cameras.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to mention. So you don't need all this stuff. So I'm not saying it's like technologically backward. I'm saying it's not required because you have real human beings who are on the lookout. And of course, certain areas are difficult to have people manning it, but it's pretty. It is there's somebody to face for theft.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. That we're talking. Why are these cameras in existence? For theft.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll keep going.
Okay. Sure.
Royal China, but I have to be back here by 9:15.
Okay.
That is why the 9:15 thing stuck in my head. Okay? That is why the 9:15 figure stuck in my head.
So she was dropped off at about 9:15 at Amarsan's with all her jewelry and all her
She was not
sorry.
wearing any jewelry. Nobody bought me jewelry.
Okay,
She went to see jewelry.
Okay. Sorry, my mistake.
She just bought a sari. She just bought a sari. She just had a sari. That's all.
Okay.
Which was in a packet.
Okay, cool. Let me sort of do my checking and all, and I'll get back to you if I have to.
Yeah, you please do your checking so that you are rest assured, and you please find out what time, because when both of us, we categorically saw the shutter was down. Okay,
Yeah.
now I cannot give you an exact count on whether we left Amarsan's at 6:45 or whether we left Amarsan's at 7 o'clock. But around that time, assuming it took us half an hour, I'm taking half an hour. Let's say we were there in Amarsan's for half an hour. Okay. In half an hour, it wouldn't be more than 6:45.
Yeah.
So 6:45 when we left, this one was shut. So you check with them once and you please call me back so that for my own, because, I don't want you to sit there and, just keep thinking of ideas.
I really apologize. But again, like how she's saying she's going to take a half an hour, but then she says that we landed there probably at 6:45. Just saying, we can keep going. I think we should keep going, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Nothing makes sense, honestly.
Yep.
Yes, but I'm hiding something from you because I'm not. I cannot give you any more information.
I'm not thinking anything yet. I'm trying to find out what to think about this.
Yeah. And the last, like I said, Sheena had dropped Sheena at 9:15, or it could be 9:30. But I'm giving you the exact sequence of events to you. From Amarsan's, we went past Royal China. Royal China, the shutter was down. Then we went to Notundas. Okay, I'm giving you the jeweler's name, Notundas. He looked at some ring.
Just saying she switched the order. Again.
Yeah. Yes.
And all that then. And then from there, we went to Taj Lands. She had one Long Island iced tea and one margarita. I had two margaritas. There will be a time also when we take the bill. Okay, I'm not carrying the bill, but they will, Taj has cameras, so they'll see what time we went in and what time we came out, no?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and in Royal China, it is not possible. Nobody will, if I stand there or, that nobody has seen me in Royal China, that is also not possible, no?
Correct.
One second. Papa wants to speak to you.
Hello.
Yeah, listen. You do all the investigation you need to do. I think Indrani's told you what she knows, where she's been, what the sequence of events is, right? And where she dropped Sheena.
Okay. Yeah.
After that, neither have you heard from her in terms of physically heard from her. You've had messages. We've had messages.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm saying you had messages the following morning, etc.
Yeah.
And Indrani's last message was at about approximately 10 o'clock at night. Right? And that's the extent of it.
Yeah.
Now, if after this you want to go find out where she is, whatever, you please do so.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't give you any more information. I don't think Indrani can either.
Okay.
But I can only say to you that I think she's fine.
Okay.
Now, you want to go and ferreting away, that's absolutely fine. It's your call.
Yeah. Well, I'm at a loss, so I kind of have to. It's not like an option I have, really.
Yeah, then you do so. No, I mean, you can go to Royal China, go parading around in the Taj, go into the jeweler shop, go into the Amarsan's sari shop, see whether what is being said to you is accurate or not. And then you do it. Do it. Sell it for yourself. Nobody's selling pokie pies.
Cool. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
You know, once.
I'm sorry.
I said once you've spoken to Roy.
So I said new call, but it's
Yes.
not, right? She just
I
got back
don't
to
think
the
so.
call.
Yes.
So I guess we edit that out, and I'm just going to back it up a little.
Sure.
China, you please call me back and let me know, once.
I'm sorry.
I said once you've spoken to Royal China,
Yeah.
will you let me know?
Yeah. Of course. Let you know if.
Yeah,
whether
and
they were-
also, the moment if they tell you, okay, which is what I'm telling you, that we never went to Royal China.
Yeah.
If they tell you that we have not gone to Royal China and they confirm that we have not been to Royal China, you know that. Then you know that I'm speaking the truth, right?
Yeah. I know that, Indrani. I'm just trying to work out what happened. You see, Sheena told me that they were on their. You were on the way to Royal China. Now I've already checked with Royal
And
China.
after that, have you received messages? After that, have you received messages from her?
Yeah.
You have received messages now, so that you know from 9:15, I have not seen Sheena. Okay?
Okay.
If you have received messages telling you that she's sitting with me, it is complete bullshit because I have not gone to Royal China with her. I have not seen her after that.
Okay.
And there was never any. And I am pretty convinced we didn't leave at 8:40 also from Taj.
Yeah. No, it was before that.
I'm pretty sure. No. We had
No?
left after that. I'm
really?
pretty sure about
Okay.
that.
I'm just shaking my head over here.
Yeah. What was that? After 8:40?
Well, I mean, isn't she also sort of saying that, okay, so if she went to Royal China, she didn't go with me. So here we are back to the other guy kind of thing.
Yeah, which would make sense with what she was saying, like, oh, she was constantly on a phone. I don't know who she was texting, if she was texting you
Exactly.
or somebody else.
Exactly. So this sounds like another thing of, hey, if she says that I was there, like if on one of those messages she said she and I were eating, it's not true. She's lying to you. Like after this period of time, I don't know where she went. If she's saying that she was with me, in other words, if she's lying to you and
Yeah.
telling you that we're together,
Yeah.
I don't know who she's with.
Yeah. She was on her phone all the time. She made plans with
Yeah.
somebody.
I don't know who
It
she was
wasn't me.
messaging you. I mean, it could have
Yeah.
been you. Could have been you.
Yeah.
I don't know who she's texting and talking to constantly while we're together. Okay. Anyway, just I feel defeated at this point.
Me
I'm just like,
too. Yeah. I made a note of this. It's a small point, but again, I think it's another discrepancy, which is initially when she was talking about her whereabouts with Sheena, she said that they had coffee at Taj Land's End. Now
yeah,
she's saying they had 2 drinks each. Very
right.
specifically, she remembers what drinks they had. But
Exactly.
first it was coffee, now it's drinks.
You know, and it
Without
was
dinner.
really, like, I don't know about what you thought, but when she lists the drinks, I'm sitting there going, a Long Island iced tea and a margarita.
And yeah,
Like,
yes.
what?
Why?
Who drinks like that?
Yeah, yes.
Did you
Why
think
do
that
you
was weird?
remember that? I thought that was super weird. Her saying that was weird. Her being that specific was weird, but also who mixes like that?
Well, I mean, you know, particularly with the Long Island, I mean, iced tea, where,
Yes.
you know, I mean, that's one hell of a drink. And it's like, okay, margaritas. Okay.
Yeah. And this is supposedly on an empty stomach because you've not had dinner.
Exactly. And I'm thinking that's the other point, which I was really trying not to get into only because I'm like trying to hold back on some of the stuff. But I'm like, wait a minute. They were going to eat and then they end up having drinks. So when do people eat? When are people eating then? Like, this is
Yeah.
unusual.
Yes, it is.
Again, it's
You
like,
definitely eat with your drinks or before your drinks.
just eat,
Unless
period,
it's like,
at this point.
yeah,
By this point,
it's too
like,
late.
yeah, it's weird. Like, you don't normally have a drink like like a Long Island iced tea. I mean, granted, okay, they bring you nuts or whatever it is. And
Yes.
she's not saying that they had an appetizer. I'm very sure that this woman, if they had an appetizer, would be happy to enumerate.
Yes. And show the receipt.
Well, it does make sense. So here's the thing. If Sheena texted Rahul and said, okay, we've been to the Taj and now we're going to Royal China to eat, that would still make sense because a lot of people have drinks over there and then eat. Like, that is a
Yes.
place where people like to get a drink in the lobby. There's a lounge and, so that's definitely a very common Bombay thing to be doing, right?
Yes.
But
But you
it
would
is,
eat.
yeah, I mean, it's just but so that's why Sheena's text actually makes sense.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But that's why she needs to come up with the story that Sheena said she wants to be dropped. And I have a guest coming over. So by 9:30, by 9:15, I'm done with Sheena. I was not seen. Remember, Rahul? I was not seen with Sheena after 9:15.
Yeah, exactly.
That I'm clear about.
I'm just shaking my head. It's like layer upon layer upon layer.
Doesn't end.
It doesn't end.
Every word. Can't believe it, honestly.
And to get back onto the phone. And it's like, okay, now while
Yes.
we're talking about this, I'm just going to let you know, if she told you that we were together, we weren't together.
Yeah. And don't forget to do that homework I told you about. Make sure you get back to me. It's really strange.
Yep. All I can say is let's push play.
I guess we have to.
we have to go down with the ship. We have to go down with the ship.
Okay. All right. So then,
After that.
listen, Indrani, I'm genuinely not trying to accuse you, okay? I'm just trying to find out what's happened because I'm actually a little
No,
concerned.
I agree.
Sheena,
But you
so,
please call Roy China and call me back, please.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Bye. I want to announce Mr. Ganja. I want to go through this whole sequence of all the things that we did, constant for all. But after that, we want to go and find missing because I am washing my hands off. I'm really getting up to here.
We're all
Interesting.
upset, aren't we?
So, did you hear that from the background?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, one sec. It's here. Just hold on. I'm just trying to get a video at that.
You see, I don't know who's telling what and who said what is true and what is not. Hello?
Telling you. I'll call you back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me check in. Okay, bye.
So I think they're at the airport now.
This thing in my head, clarity in my head. You might have some more clarity. And, when we hear anyway, then of course we feel, much better anyway. That kind of gives us, like you said, a full sense of closure, and that's it. Really, but
well, I've just had enough of it. I've been discussing this and thinking about this. I haven't, for like literally constantly, all night, all day for the last since the 24th itself. And I can't do it anymore. I'm literally at my limit. So until somebody hears from Sheena, until we get to know, until the police find Sheena, if that's the case, until someone hears from her, and I get some some hard evidence that she is okay, then I won't get any closure.
Let's wait. So. Then I suppose then there is nothing much one can do.
Exactly.
We just have to wait and see what happens. Till then, I suppose we just have to rest and just keep our minds rested.
Exactly. Because otherwise it's just going round in circles, isn't it? And
then take a call. There's nothing to take a call, I suppose. Then, but anyway.
Well, no, we can take a call.
Speak to Papa 1 second.
All right.
Now we're not even going to take a call.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
I hear you.
I mean, all right, so what do we have here? I mean, seriously, you know, we've listened to this entire stretch of phone calls.
Yeah. That was an abrupt end, by the way, like you had
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Now, what happened there, we obviously don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of casting my mind back. This is a particularly heavy piece. You're just trying to follow what she's saying. I can understand why Rahul is just saying, listen, I'm not blaming anyone. I just am trying to get the facts.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting in and of itself that he has to keep reiterating that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, you get the sense after this final phone call where it's like, okay, we've been up and down the road.
Yes.
We have gone up and down this road. I think that it seems to me, and I'm curious about what you would say. I mean, where do you think they're at now? Like, are they all just feeling exhausted at this point? Where do you think? I mean, obviously, full speculation. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't Indrani sort of seem almost worn out for the first time in all these conversations?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, first of all, you gotta applaud Rahul's patience. Like that kind of patience, I don't think that's hard. But also, I was thinking about this as the calls were ending. I wonder if Rahul feels like, what more can he get from these guys? It's like he said, he's been going through this day and night for 2 weeks now. And obviously he's got to be at his breaking point, like he said before. So I wonder if these recordings either stopped completely because he's like, what else can I get? Everything that I've gotten is so convoluted, or we just don't have the rest of it.
Or maybe he has recordings that have not been released.
Yeah, that's what I mean by we just don't have the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I guess what I'm trying to say there is that he has recordings and has decided to keep those recordings to himself and no one knows about them.
Yes.
I think Peter is at that point where it's like, okay, I mean, he summed it up, right? Anything beyond this, we have no idea. Like, whatever we
Yeah.
could do to help, we've done. Now, you want to go chase all these things down? Please do that. His deduction, he's told us that Sheena's running off with another guy and that this relationship is over.
I kind of had a realization about him, and I
Mhm.
forgot about this, but it just came to me when you said that. It's like it's like he's a certain way when he's just like when Rahul manages to cue him into his own pain, in Rahul's pain. It's like he's then talking to Peter the father. And then when they're on the speakerphone, it's like, I've seen this happen with some couples in India, especially where the wife who's in charge of like household matters. Let's say if they're because they're in charge of the household matters, they're also in charge of the kids. And let's say the kids have gone out and they're not back by curfew. The wife will egg the husband on, like, where are the kids? Where are the kids? And the father or the husband gets worked up And it sort of sounds like Peter's playing that role with Rahul. It's like Indrani is like egging him on, like, look at him. He's still questioning. He's still on this. He's still like losing his mind. Why can't he drop it? Sheena's just run off with this guy. So when he's not in that father mindset and cued into his son's pain, he snaps into this role of what Indrani's making him do, like egging him on, like, look at your son. He's like losing it. He's this lovesick boy who's just can't accept the fact that Sheena has left him. So I felt like I saw two sides of that, and I feel like it speaks to some of Peter's guilt or lack of guilt.
I mean, I think what's interesting is that I agree with the snapping into the father. I think that the thing is that for some reason, if we're just going off these conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me like Peter has the father role and then he has the husband role. And
Yes.
he has to be snapped into the father role. So it's like he has to choose between these two. And why can't he be both?
Mm.
Like, so there's like a conscious almost, or like a habituated response. But the point is that if he's a husband, he can't be a father. If he's a father, he's no longer a husband. Like, he seems to
Mhm.
snap in, So if Rahul says something that's very concerning, then he's in the father role. And
Yes.
he's very good in that space, I would say. Like, he
Yes.
whatever we've seen in these phone calls, I would say, that is meaningful to him. But it's like, that's not his default. His
No.
default seems to be in this husband role, which is like, okay, these are, things. I've got really important work. I don't get into the nitty gritty, like, all the drama. I'm over
Yeah.
here, like, I'm half listening. I'm not really emotionally invested in all these conversations. I let my wife handle all of that. So I agree with you. But I guess I'm also kind of extending it.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. That's an interesting point. Why can't he do both? Why does he? I mean, I kind of, it's kind of obvious like why he can't do both. It's like Indrani's in the middle and she may not allow that, but that's an interesting thing. Why can't he just be both at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting dynamic there. It's
Yeah.
like, it's something that I feel like we should pay attention to. That when
Yeah.
we're thinking about this and we're listening to Peter and how he's handling things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it, it it's like it. Do you take away from it that, okay, he's very wrapped up in his life with his wife, and that's his, like, his default, like, this is my home. I mean, let's remember that these guys have not really been talking.
Yeah.
So now his
That's true.
life has become his life with Indrani. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's more of, like, they've been spending less time with Rahul and Sheena. Like, there's not been these other um avenues or outlets, or it's not required. He's a certain age. Okay, I'm letting him go. He wants to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Let him do what he needs to do. He's a grown man, blah, 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 which is a thematic that we hear throughout these calls. And it's like, suddenly it's like, so it makes you wonder that, had they not been sort of estranged in a certain kind of way, if there hadn't been
Yes.
strain in this relationship, would he ever have snapped? I mean, would there be such a thing as snapping into Rahul's pain? Or would he have been with Rahul throughout, and he would see through Rahul's eyes everything rather than Indrani's eyes?
I feel that could potentially go both ways in the sense that if if Peter was seeing Rahul and Sheena, maybe one more than the other, but if he was seeing one of them as the troublemaker or both of them as troublemakers, maybe they had a more strained relationship 3 years back, when or however long back when they stopped talking. So I wonder if some of it was just like for Peter, it's got to be this wearing out thing that he has to keep, like he has to manage both of these parties who don't like each other. So I don't know if he would have, if it's easier for him to snap back into this father role now because they don't have this dislike between these two parties. They have a real concern about Sheena, who's not, like, who's disappeared. Or if it would be, if he wouldn't be splitting between these roles of husband and father if they didn't have that break in their relationship for those 3 years. Does that make sense?
It does. And I guess the whole thing is it's like just something to observe in these phone calls. It is a dynamic. It's something that is, woven into all this other, mess of what, in other words, like that whole thing is going on alongside, right? It's getting revealed as these conversations are going on. And it's a dynamic which could reveal something about what was going on with Sheena. Like, in other words, that we're seeing this dynamic and how it was playing out at this moment. So could that reveal something about what happened to Sheena? Why
Yeah.
Sheena is missing? Why Sheena is later found to have been murdered?
Yeah.
So, what does it reveal to us? You know?
Yeah. I think what is also revelatory is that there aren't any, at least publicly available, murder tapes with any of the other parties. None with her friends, none with Vidhi, who's Indrani's other daughter, with nobody else, nobody from work, none of these people. It seems like, at least what we have publicly available, it seems like Rahul only has recorded these tapes with Peter and Indrani, which also I find interesting.
Why could you speculate as to why?
It's going to be one heck of a speculation, but I think Rahul smelled something fishy from, it seems like from the minute that Sheena didn't come home that night, he's like, something's off. So I get in one sense why he would record calls with Indrani, because Indrani specifically, because she was the last person who was with Sheena. But it's also like he's picking up on something, like something has happened, and his spidey senses, so to speak, have, like, are peaked. So my sense is that maybe he thinks that these guys have, at least Indrani has something to do with it. And he's probably dealt with Indrani before to know that she might not stick to something completely. So it's best to record stuff.
Okay, so was Rahul thinking that these are his own personal tapes to track all the I mean, we just listened to a conversation that is about I mean, we don't even know what happened. Like, okay, all these places are mentioned. There's no clarity except for this one text message. There's nothing that makes,
Yeah.
it's all, getting changed around. We did go to the jewelry, we didn't go to the jewelers. We went there in the shutters, blah, blah, blah. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, she's hard to pin down is my point. So
Mhm.
are these Rahul, is this an attempt on his part? Is his intention, like, she keeps giving me so many stories and I just need to
Mhm.
know what's been said?
Yes.
Or is he already moved to another stage and he's saying, I want to get this on tape? Because if this is involved, if they are involved, if Indrani, I don't think he's thinking his father's involved, but he's keeping an open mind, I'm sure. I think that he is already wanting to have evidence, is my point.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good delineation. I think if you're asking me, then I think it could be more of the former, but also a little bit of the latter unknowingly. And I would also think that he's probably seen the effect of Indrani on Peter throughout the years, and um, I guess how influenced Peter can be by Indrani. Again, that's speculation. So maybe he's just like on to be on the safer side, even if I think my dad is not involved. It's best to record all of this just to see what happens, what I get out of it.
So I think, while you're saying that, you made me think something, which goes like this. Rahul knows that Indrani is a person who can keep a big secret
Mm.
and has no qualms
Mm.
about keeping those secrets. And we don't know what Sheena told him about Indrani, about their life, about whatever, like anything, like related to Indrani and Sheena. So he's somebody who Indrani must have some anxiety about because she doesn't really know how
Mm.
much he knows.
Great
And
point.
given that she's someone that he finds unethical, like capable of this master deception with
Mm-hmm.
forcing her own daughter to say that she's a sister. Um,
Mm.
I think that, his image of her is of someone who's not a very ethical or nice person, someone who
Mm.
has no problem. And I'm sure that Sheena must have cried in front of Rahul over these 3 years of the
Yes.
pain of not having her mother and the pain of her upbringing and the general sense of a lack of identity,
Yes.
and all the sufferings that a child would go through when their mother abandons them,
Yes.
um, and just all the hardships that they faced. So now it's like Indrani is not just dealing with anyone here; she's dealing with someone in the know, and to what degree she's uncertain of. And I think that, obviously speculation, but I really wonder if he was like, he seemed very alarmed at her disappearance in a certain kind of way. Like
Mhm.
remember there was the phone call where Indrani got very upset. Who said she's dead? Why would anybody think she's dead?
Yes. Yes.
What a thing to think, and what, all of that. But he's going there. He's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely going there. So, what does Rahul know?
Yeah.
Is it,
Yeah.
like, does he know something that Sheena has shared with him?
Yeah.
He's not saying that he's thinking this could be a problem. It could
Yeah.
be threatening to Sheena's
Yes.
life.
Yeah. Especially if the stuff, I mean, we might get to this at another point, but especially the stuff that Mikhail said. If Mikhail said was true, which is that he was put through torture because he apparently disclosed to people that he was the son and not the brother of Indrani. And one gets the sense that Sheena did disclose, like she was honest and open with Rahul. Like it seems like they had a close and loving relationship. So, good chance that he knows the ins and outs of this relationship and what Indrani has been up to over the years when Sheena was still craving her mom.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
If you had to say at this point, you know, guilty, not guilty for Indrani and Peter,
Mhm.
where are you today versus when we started?
It's hard for me to say that Indrani is not guilty. I'm leaning towards guilt. Like there's too many inconsistencies. There's not enough regard for her own daughter, even if they weren't close in the beginning. You would have still some affinity towards your daughter. There seems to be not a lot of concern. And to say things like, I'm washing my hands off of this, I'm done being upset. All Sheena did was, like, fire off whatever the salvo off my shoulder. With Peter, I feel like I can understand. I'm not sure. I'm leaning more towards not guilty. Like, because also, if he is trying to manage his role as a father and as a husband, I can also understand his lax attitude when it comes to finding Sheena, especially if there's a picture that's been painted to him that she's just like, this loose girl who's now run off with. He's first, she knew she's Indrani's daughter, knowing that she's dating my son, which is inappropriate. Now she's run off with another guy, blah blah blah. So I think with him, I can see why he would be relaxed about it, why he would not give it as much due as Rahul is giving. I'm leaning more towards not guilty for Peter and towards guilty for Indrani. What do you
Hmm.
think?
I don't see how Indrani is not guilty.
Hmm.
I don't understand. I mean, for many of the same reasons. But my real thing here is that, you know, it's a 3-minute conversation. Okay, at this time we went here. We
Yeah.
started here, we went there, we went there, we went there, and then after that, I don't know. I mean that it takes so long with so much extra.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
I mean, that's just for starters. And I'm just taking the most recent thing that we've listened to.
Yeah.
Just for ease, for our
Yeah.
listeners' ease. I think that she was an obstacle in every single phone call. And I just
Hmm.
don't understand. So even if you feel like your daughter is a loose cannon, that, you feel upset with her for running off with your second, whatever husband number we're at, and she's gone off with his son, and this has created some distress in your marriage and whatever. She has a
Hmm.
shocking level of disregard.
Hmm. Yes.
She casts aspersion, you know,
Yeah.
kind of suggesting that she's materialistic. I mean,
Yeah.
she didn't say anything nice. Not a single thing
Nothing.
did she say that
Not a
was
thing.
nice.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that by these phone calls, there's no more discussion of a guy. Where did that all go? Now,
Yeah.
these are selective phone calls. I get that, like maybe, but it's like suddenly
Yeah.
that's the answer. She's run off. There's no urgency with her about any of it.
Yeah.
There's also I will go and talk to this person. I will follow that up. So the things that she wants to follow up, she is like, I will follow that up. I will talk to Mr. Mukerjea. I will call Devin Bhakti. I will make sure that he knows that you're calling, whatever, all that stuff. But you
Yeah.
call Royal China. You go speak to these people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing left to think.
Yeah.
There's nothing left to think because in my opinion, at this point, um, if she's not involved, she's involved by not caring. about her
Yes.
daughter. Even a person who
Yes.
thought that the girl ran off with someone would be calling her again and again and again, saying, "Where are you? Who are you with? What's
Yeah. Did you
happening?
reach? Yeah.
People are worried about you. Could you please call me back? What's going on?
Yeah.
Who is this guy? There's a real ruckus going on. Please call Rahul. He's very upset." None of that. None of that's
No.
happening. So there is involvement,
Yeah.
even if it's called neglect,
Yeah. Which is the
which,
bare minimum.
there's a long history of.
Yeah.
With Peter, I think what Peter's guilty of is jumping to conclusions, taking the easy way out,
Mm.
not standing for his son enough. I hate to say this about anybody, but get on the plane. Get
Yeah.
on the plane. Drop everything. Even if she's run off with another guy, your son is feeling the depths of his soul, and he's wanting to jump out a window. Like, what? I
Yeah.
still go back to that. So
Yeah.
if he's guilty of anything, it's of being blind,
Yeah.
of just taking the easy way out, of leaving things in grand generalities. Oh, she's a girl who ran off. Get over it. Indrani has told you, so believe her or don't believe her. But I've told you everything I know. Like, where's the hands-on? I'll go with you. Let's go find out. If he's guilty of anything, it's just a lack of participation. Period. In every part of it. I mean, it's coming across like, what do you get involved with? What does it take to get you involved? Because it certainly isn't enough for your son to say, "Hey, I'm on the edge here." I would, I mean, so, and it's like handing the phone over to Indrani. You handle it. You talk. You do it. So
Yeah.
I'm just finding out such a lack of participation in one's own life and the people around you. So that he may not be guilty of knowing anything about this, being involved in Sheena's disappearance and any of that, like her
Mhm.
murder, not knowing anything. I could buy that after listening to this. I really could. But he is very guilty. And that's like a really hard thing to say. But I find him absolutely absent.
Yeah. I get what you mean. I kind of also expect that of a father who's that high up in the corporate world, who's that ingrained in the corporate world. It's like your career is everything. Don't waste time over a girl.
But you're sitting in Goa. What else are you doing? You're not
Yeah.
working.
Right?
You're property.
Yeah.
You're not saying to your son, "Oh my God, you've lost your fiance. Oh my God, okay. I'm on the next plane." Like, what does it take for Peter to feel moved? Is my question. So if there's any
Yeah.
guilty, thing to be guilty about, is like the absolute absence of urgency in his own son's life.
Hmm.
And I don't care. He's sitting and by the pool. That's
Yeah.
what Rahul's asking. Are you sitting by the pool? No, I'm not. I'm not sitting, but I'm just watching TV. Really? So
Lying down.
I'm not buying that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
he's some fancy big shot, whatever, but does that dismiss you from being a father, a human being? Even if she ran away. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can only just be repetitive there, and I won't go on a rant. So, but my picture of him is like, it's so easy to slide everything by him,
So
you
in
know?
a way, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but correct me if I'm wrong. In a way, you're saying that they're both at least guilty of neglect towards their own children.
I'm saying he's not interested in the things he should be interested in.
Okay.
His
Would you
life
call that
is
neglect?
so it's like there's not a bone of there's no curiosity,
Mm.
there's no sense of urgency, there's no sense of it's not his problem, right? It's not my problem. I will do what I feel like doing. I will do these things, and I have done these things for you now. So don't ask me for more. I've done this thing. I've done what I can do. This is what I know. I have nothing left. Really? That's it? That's all your capacity is? So I
That
don't know if it's so much. I just don't understand that this is a person that could be a real force in this situation who's absolutely
yeah.
abdicating his connections to getting something done here.
Mm.
You know, like this guy's well connected. I mean, there could be
Yeah.
news bulletins every night just because he said so. Like all he has to do is call
Yes.
up his all he has to do is call a few I mean, he had so many connections in media. Her
Yeah.
picture could have been everywhere or instantly, like within an hour, within a half an hour. This is a guy who had that kind of command. And it's like, can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? She's missing. We don't know where she is.
Yeah.
He has that at his fingertips.
Yeah. To keep the
So
case alive.
he's absent. It's like, how do you make a dent in this father? I don't know. I do think that he loves his son, but I
Yes.
don't think he's paying attention. He's simply a bystander. And I don't understand that. Her,
Yeah.
and it's like, she's probably doing the thing of, oh, we need to look at this property. Everything's great. Here, let's have these drinks. You know, it's like, he's like at a cruise director. Yes. What's our next activity? Shuffleboard. Okay. Okay, we've done the shuffleboard. Let's go. Oh, hey, look, it's casino night. It's like she just keeps him busy, you know? It's like busy. Hey, guess what? There's a magician over here. Let's go see the magician. Yeah, okay, let's go to the magician. You know what I mean? It's like she's on a constant, like, keeping this guy entertained all the time. And he doesn't want to step out of the bubble, dude. That's what I think. And so and I'm done. I promise I'm done. But
No, it's
I
okay.
do
Go
feel
on.
like it's
So,
really puzzling.
so you think this picture on the thumbnail with them
Mhm.
on another planet, that was her idea? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, that's why I thought it was such a great image that you found, because it's like, this is pretty much this. This is
Yeah.
they're in an alternate universe, and no one makes a dent. I mean, Rahul tries really hard. I mean,
Yeah.
hats off. So on the basis of these phone calls, we got a 2 guilties and a we don't think he's guilty, but maybe he should, get
Not guilty of the murder.
yeah.
I'm thinking only of the murder. But I do agree with you. He is an absent father. And I wonder if it's like, I am I am a newly married couple again. This woman makes me feel young, and I am like I'm a big shot in the corporate world. I'm numb to everything else, including my what my sons are going through and their pain. If they need career advice, I'll be on it. That I can make happen. But everything else is sort of,
Right.
uh, unimportant.
And in summary of the phone calls, my position is that on the very last phone call, we found out what we should have found out in the very first phone call. Where did we go? Here's what we did.
Yeah. Which
First
is
day
also,
stuff. First day stuff.
yeah. Still unclear, but yeah, comes at the very end.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I don't know about you. These were very informative. I think that the whole story of Sheena's disappearance and what the consequences of, what we've learned here have on my outlook on this case. It really has helped to inform that. I know that we have a person who obfuscates
Yes. Big time.
big time, and I really do feel like you get a very good I'm so happy that we went straight to the murder tapes, because I really feel like the case has crystallized through these phone calls.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I know that we spent a lot of time breaking these things down, like almost each word at one point, but I honestly, these are so informative. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't think that each call could reveal so much. It's just really interesting. It's definitely it's definitely cleared the picture for me after watching the documentary.
absolutely, and I hope that our listeners agree. I hope that our listeners have taken this journey with us, and
Yeah.
we'd be really interested to hear what other people think.
Yes.
Are you feeling like we are? Did you see something we didn't? Did, do you feel that Peter is guilty, for example?
Yes.
Do you have a
Yes.
case for Indrani? These are things we'd like to hear. This is not set in stone. This is where we're sitting after listening to the full series of phone calls. And we truly hope that you've enjoyed exploring them with us. And
Yes.
we're looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah. Eavesdrop into our conversation and tell us what you think.
All right. Well, I guess that's till next time.
All right. See you then.
See you then.